Hi everyone, Anastasia here, and today I'm with my lovely Anita Milovac, new energetics and embodiment mentor. Today we are going to discuss the womb healing. And maybe it seems to you it's only related to women, but no, it's also related to men. So why we're going to talk about that today is because actually Anita is doing that with her clients. That's what I understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
You actually help your clients to go deeper into the experience which they have with their womb space, and that's how they heal.
Very.
Yeah, but
Very.
okay, we will start from that. Now we
Yes.
understood that you are dealing with that. You have experienced that. You have definitely stories to tell to us about that. What is womb healing if we try to make it as simple as possible to understand for everyone?
Womb healing is basically going into the depths of your being and healing not just your own trauma and karmic imprints, but also it is about going back into the timeline of your ancestors and understanding the true essence of your being, understanding what stops you in this life, why you are behaving in relationships the way you do, why you are attracting certain partners that you do. And I understand this is now not a simple sentence. It's hard to describe it in one sentence. But basically, womb healing, before I go further, is all about bringing you back to your truth and bringing you back into your power, energetically and then physically.
Okay, so because now we have so many different places where we can go and check astrology, numerology, psychology. You go and they tell you, I can help you to find your issues in life, why you have them, what caused them, and why you have what you have, like why you attract the partners you're attracting. But we don't really hear about that being part of the womb healing.
No.
But why exactly, if we start from the basic, from essential explanation of the connection between the womb, what womb stores, the story, the history, and how it can affect your current life being?
So what is different in the womb healing? And I have a lot of clients that come to me, they've done all of these sessions. They went to psychologists, they done theta healing, they did Reiki healing, they've done so many things. What womb healing does, what is different, is we need to understand that the womb, and that's something majority of women really don't know. When I tell them womb healing, they ask me, what is that? Or they say, I need it. Without knowing what it is, they say, I need it, because a part of them recognizes it. The womb is not just a reproductive organ, right? That bleeds every month if it's healthy, of course, and if it's regular, and that, births, and that is just there for our pleasures when we are intimate with our partners. The womb is a portal. And what is a portal? A portal, you can imagine in those movies when you see it, when a vortex opens up and they're basically entering a loop inside, and they're in a different time zone, different timeline. The womb stores memories, cellular memories that go beyond time and space. So all our lifetimes, all the curses that we maybe have encountered are part of the womb healing. All the trauma that passed down through timelines of family history. So all of this knowledge, this wisdom is in the womb. And why it is so powerful? Because it brings you back to you. You actually start to understand when you connect to the womb that she speaks, that she gives you the answers that you need, and that it's really all within. So there is actually no questioning whether the mind plays a game into that or not, because she's a very distinct and specific language to communicate and how she shows you this information. So it can be through images, it can be through a scene, something you hear, colors. So there are different ways. I have a certain way to guide my clients, depending on the client, into that portal, right? And as the womb energetically is the portal, she also is connected to other organs in our body. Nothing functions by itself in the body.
I want to come back to that part. I know that you have a lot to say because that's your topic. When you say that, womb has all the answers for us. It will guide you. It will give you different images or different feelings. Can you say it's same as intuition? Would you say that the intuition comes from that part of our body, or it's just one part of the intuition? Like this is how the whole system of our body talks. And one of the major parts which can guide you where intuition is our womb space.
You can call it intuition. For me, I distinguish intuition and inner knowing. They are two different things for me in my experience. So an intuition is something that shows up, right? It comes, whether silently, it comes with a nudge, it comes with goosebumps, your hair stands up, as we say it. Usually we relate intuition to a gut feeling. So it sits in our gut, which is our second brain. Then we call it sometimes coming from the heart, which we also call our third brain, right? So there are many ways to distinguish where intuition of our body comes from. But it comes and it goes. It's not always there. And inner knowing is something you live with. It's something you embody. It's an energy that resides within you and that you walk with at all times.
So you want to say that there's something what you already knew.
Yeah.
And then you just, when you listen to, when you connect, you're basically just remembering.
Yes. So inner knowing, for me, how to put it into words so that it's a bit easy, because sometimes when you're in it, and it's sometimes difficult to explain it, right? So an inner knowing, yes, it is a remembrance, but it's also you're walking through life with an incredible trust. So it's a trust in yourself. Messages that you receive, you're not doubting them. With intuition, we tend to doubt sometimes, right? And we are questioning them. We're like, okay, is it now our mind or is it something that we really feel is coming up? And there are different forms of intuition as well. When it comes to inner knowing, it's so clear and it's so strong, you never doubt it. Yes, you use your discernment. Sometimes you have to. So when I say discernment, it's like, okay, is that really true now that it's my inner knowing?
Can you give an example?
So for example,
so we understand.
So for example, when I go on a new path.
Okay.
In my life.
Like you choose different
Like I
work.
choose a different path. Yeah. So for example, I'll give you an example because my sister, she always says it, right? So I started with corporate stress management training, coachings and all of that. But I always wanted to go deeper. I was always more interested in the occult, in the secrets, right? So in astrology, numerology, all these things that...
At that time, it was someone, if you tell someone, they would say you're crazy, right?
Yes.
It's now last like 5 years, it became something normal. But before it was like, what?
Before, when I started, people were like, oh, you and my sister, my sister was joking, you will start flying with a broom, you know? But for me, it was who I am. It was part of who I am, not in terms of identity.
You felt it.
But in terms of being, right, of my energy.
Yeah.
So, and then eventually I decided, and I had a knowing, I had a dream that I need to go into Tantra and I need to help people with their sexual energy through tantric breathwork and through the alignment of sexual energy.
Did you know something about that
Nothing,
at that point? Like
nothing.
It just came to you?
A little bit, of course. I mean, I studied a little bit. I knew the basics of sexual energy and how to do that, but I never went to a deep course on how to do tantric breathwork.
And you never had anyone around you who would know anything about that?
I had people, but I didn't ask, and I just started doing it. And I remember having clients that came to me after we finished our breathwork, and they're like, Anita, did you do Dr. Joe Dispenza's course? I was like, no, never done his courses. They're like, he's doing similar things, but yours is like more in depth when it comes to the sexual energy. And I was sitting there and I'm like, it's literally coming from an inside knowing.
So that was your inner knowing, which you, so you were building up the practice based on what was guiding from inside.
Yes.
You were having like kind of downloads or something what was coming to you. And that's how you decided to do certain sequence of the moves or breathing technique, right? That's how it happens.
Yeah, I just knew how to do them, how to guide the client. I could see directly through the client what he needs, what she needs, because I have
and here, this is exactly what I said. People straight away assume that you learned it from someone.
Exactly, because they cannot imagine that it's a natural gift. It's not something I practiced in this lifetime. It's something I practiced in many reincarnations I had as a high priestess, right? So I had many, many lifetimes where I mastered these things.
That's where you start remembering who you are.
And you start remembering, and the more you trust that, the stronger these gifts come out. And my sister was always telling me, it's so crazy. You get this download, you start doing it, you succeed. You get this download.
But you succeed because you start doing that. You didn't wait, and you trusted.
But
you didn't question, like, oh, will it work, it will not work. You just did it.
Yes.
But when you start doing that, did you feel it like, because we're talking about with the womb right now. Okay, when you were at that stage of your life and you were in corporate world and you just started. And then definitely what you started doing was not that popular at that time. Did you have any feeling within your womb, or it was like, did you felt like something was speaking to you from that part, or it was, how did you feel it?
I had visions.
Okay.
I had visions and dreams. I'm a very prophetic dreamer. Also, when I dream of other people, I have to inform them. Sometimes it's not nice what I see, but it does come true. So it's not something we pick and choose, right? Oh, I want to see just the trees and the cherries. Sometimes we see also death and, a premonition of something bad to come or a bad omen. And I've always trusted that. I've never really doubted myself. Yes, sometimes I would go and research because I also want to make sure I give my clients the proper sessions and I don't just come up with stuff. But the trust in me was stronger. And I knew it also because my womb, and this is the power of the feminine yoni, she was pulsating.
Okay, so it was a physical feeling.
It
Apart
manifests into the physical as well. So first, it's energetic. It manifests for everybody different. So I don't want the audience to take my example and wait for dreams or visions. Maybe for you, it comes in an inside body reaction.
Do you have any examples from your clients?
For my
Experiences?
clients,
Like do they have these experiences and how they feel it?
after they get it, after the womb healing. So what happens through the womb healing is that they start connecting to the womb. So they start getting messages. So what they do, for example, when they go on a date with a guy and
you never saw the guy before, you're just going first time. Okay.
They go first time on a date with a man, right? So they want a relationship, they want a proper partner, not just these casual hookups and all of these kind of things, right? And they started to be tuned into their womb. So the womb and the yoni, they are connected. So the yoni, when it's something that is for them, she pulsates, like you can feel it. And when it's not for them, she contracts. So the more you are connected to the womb as a woman, you can feel that. And this is not just with men, this is also with friendships, with work opportunities. She literally speaks. Yeah. You just need to start speaking her language.
Okay, here, understood. I 100% support you, I agree. But since you and me already have experience, maybe you have definitely more experience because you work with your clients. I have my personal experiences, but like for people who are listening, here we will start from the basic. This connection between us as human, as a man and woman, and connection with your womb. How, what to do? What are the first baby steps you can do to actually establish connection before you go deeper into the healing?
The first thing you got to do is connect to your womb. So how you do that? It's really simple, okay? You can, for example, place your hand, because wherever you place the hand, the energy, the attention goes to, right? So you've been to my sessions, you know how I start with womb healing. And then I have them close their eyes and just keep the hand on the womb and just breathe into the womb. So I'm asking them not to do anything else but that to begin with, because for some women it's easier than for others. I had a client, she couldn't connect at all. She hated her womb. Like it was almost impossible for her to connect. We worked half a year together until she was able.
Why do you think that happens? Like what could cause actually such a discrepancy, such a disconnection between woman and her womb? Because womb is something so natural, right? This is very, very big part of women's life, because we have period every month, we give, whatever, you give birth, you don't give, but still you have the possibility or not. The biggest percentage is there that you will.
Yeah.
Why that happens?
She was several times sexually abused, to put it mildly. She had to surgically remove her uterus out of health reasons, and therefore could have never had a child, right? And very difficult relationship to the mother. Also passed down through the ancestry line. So there's overall difficult connection between the feminines in the family from the mother's side. And for her, it manifested into a real deep hate into her own womb.
She was not accepting it as part of her?
Can you put it this way? Completely disconnected. She didn't feel it. She was trying, but it was really, really hard for her. She said, I just hate this part of myself. I cannot find anything good about this part of myself.
Yeah, well, psychologically, I understand why.
Psychologically, it's hard, but also energetically, complete disconnect, right? So psychologically, we can be disconnected, but the energies can still somehow be there. But for her, it was literally everything was just black hole, and it is a black hole.
How you managed to?
To be honest, it was even for me a big challenge, because I tried many, many different ways to connect her to the womb. So eventually I removed her from connecting to the womb, in a sense of just putting your hands there and feeling, because she simply couldn't feel. And we started establishing a relationship with the womb as if it is an external part of her, not something that is within her. And she can communicate to that external part. So then it was easier for her because now she was also a very analytical person, right? It comes on top of that as well. And she was able to communicate with the womb as an external being. And now the communication was coming in. Now her anger was coming out. We had many sessions where she was screaming and breaking down. And I was giving her even a pillow to throw at this imaginary thing, right, that for her represented her womb, which helped her release a lot of trapped emotions. So she didn't necessarily connect to her womb afterwards, but she started becoming aware of her existence without neglecting her, because she was completely abandoning this part in her. Also sexually, she couldn't receive any pleasure, right? And for her, it was just something to give for the man, but nothing for her really. And that part changed also a little bit afterwards. So we were able to manage it, but it did take a while. You see, when there is a deep disconnect for a woman, especially when there is a sexual abuse that took place, then we really disidentify and disassociate with that part of us. And it's very difficult to establish a bond.
Yeah, that's 100%. This is terrible when this kind of thing happens. And I'm really happy that she met you and she managed, with your help, to establish that connection, because connection with your womb is something really beautiful. But like for those women who never had any like sexual abuse or anything similar, still there are a lot of women neglecting the existence of the womb and just taking it for granted, like something what gives you a period every month and you have it for sexual intercourse or giving birth. That's it. Why do you see the cause? Like where we lost this from childhood to explain to the girl the importance, and wouldn't be it easier to build this connection since the girl is still little? I'm sure that a lot of countries, they still have as rituals, for the girls who are having their first period, they have a ceremony or rituals. But in majority of the world, it's already lost. We don't speak about that. We have very basic understanding of what it is, how it works, and then no one is telling you anything beyond the anatomical knowledge,
Yeah. Well, as you said, in certain cultures, like in India, they do that, right? And I had a client who allowed me, I had the honor for her daughter to do a ceremony when she had her first period.
Beautiful.
And to experience this as a woman and seeing her and her sister and the mother, and we were all in the circle, and her really being flourished with love and these blessings. And then she received a gift from her mom and from her father, who came separately afterwards into the circle. And I was tearing up and I was thinking,
so
gosh,
beautiful.
I would
Such
have...
a beautiful moment of
I
her
would
life.
have
She will
loved
remember
that.
it all her life.
All her life.
This is something beyond words, like no materialistic things, cars, jewelry, whatever can give this impact which her mom did in her life.
Yes, and we really have lost it because our moms didn't know that. And one of the main reasons in my experience with clients why this is happening, that women are also disconnected, other than the lack of knowledge and education around the energetics of the womb, is because of our fear of power. The womb is a portal of power. It's the portal of death and rebirth. Everything is birthed through a womb, right? So if you look at the galaxies, the black holes are considered the womb of the universe because they birth galaxies and planets.
That's
and
how
stars.
our womb is, right?
This is what she does. She sucks in,
and
she spits out.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what she does. Like if you're intimate with someone, sometimes you can hear it like a vacuum, like the noises that come out, right? And if you do work with the yoni eggs and those things, then you can also work on the muscles, and you can literally push the yoni egg out just through the muscles. So there are so many amazing ways you can work with that. But to not go off topic, the power of the womb is one of the reasons women are afraid of it. And the reason is that 80% of the women that came to me for womb healing experienced sometime in a past life being hunted and being killed for their power. So most of my clients is what we would consider powerful witches, powerful priestesses. And yes, they were killed often. Sometimes they misused their power. as well, that they were shown then what happened in that lifetime, that they actually harmed another or killed another, not necessarily intentionally, but because they also didn't know how to use their power. And when this happens, this is tremendously imprinted onto our soul and into our cells. So the womb stores this information. And then at some point in life, this information gets triggered and it comes to your consciousness through situations that are called in, because your soul drives your life. Your soul, and this is what we need to be conscious of, brings in all the experiences.
Yeah.
So the womb directly is linked to the soul when it comes to those experiences, to the cellular memory, through the cellular memory. And then these women, not even knowing why, they fear being in a powerful position. They fear developing their gifts that they have. They don't trust themselves. They are not speaking their truth.
I 100% agree. A lot of women literally just cutting off the feeling. Once they start feeling something like they have too much of the intuition developed, or they see things they can predict, because woman intuition is very highly developed. You can pick up so many details and predict the next thing happening, because simply you are just scanning a lot without you knowing that. And for some women, it can be really like...
Our power is something, you need to understand, the feminine power is tremendous. And if you as a woman have ever experienced just this moment, a tiny moment of your power that may have come suddenly and you didn't even know what was going on, you will feel its force. It's a force. And it's scary when you don't know how to be and how to control it.
You have to know how to, yeah, that's what I say. You have to know how to control it, because otherwise it can be destruction.
It is destroying you. Yes, it absolutely will destroy you, because you don't know how to handle it. So it's not just a gift you have to tell someone nice things, or maybe to learn certain techniques and heal people, help them heal basically themselves, but it's more about you. Power requires responsibility and accountability. This is number one. This is why great power is given to people who can handle that. And women are all different. Some women come in with this great power that's based on their ancestry line and their galactic connection as well, where they originally stem from. And other women have a bit less. This is not about someone being better or worse than the other. So I think we need to remove this inferiority complex also a little bit. This is just about reality of what is.
What you came here with.
What you came
here with to remember.
To remember, right? So, and when you as a soul in your cellular memory remember that, you know, your power equals pain, you're not going to go into that.
Of course not.
Right? So this is one of the reasons. And then they see themselves and they have breakdowns and they cry and they say, oh my God, my power killed this and this person. Sometimes it's a grandmother that misused her power or betrayed someone in power, and then they were expelled from the village. So this woman carries that guilt with her, not knowing why she keeps feeling guilty in her life. And that's also another fear of stepping into power, because what? Power equals being expelled. Yeah.
So for your clients, I'm sure that you helped a lot of them, but usually when they come, do they have like any similar problems, or it can be totally different? No similar, like there's no similarity in their cases?
Well, when we speak of the womb, we speak of connection with the self, connection with the body, connection with our sexuality, relationships, connection to our feminine essence, our motherly essence, but also our ability to speak the truth, because the womb is connected to the heart and to the throat. So we call the womb, especially the two ovaries, when you put them, they are resembling the vocal cords. They are chemical twins. So usually women, when they struggle to speak their truth, really struggle, there is a block here. And it's usually when we speak of the womb is so powerful. Why? It stores the 3 power centers. What are the 3 power centers? The root, the sacral, the solar plexus. And those are the ones that also store trauma. And they store karma. So when those 3 are not properly working, it's going to shut down the heart. It's going to shut the flow.
So it's coming from the bottom, and it just shuts down the
starting from the bottom. Now we're here, right? So we have to start here.
I think that's why some women, even if you tell them shout, just go somewhere and shout, they will experience difficulty in that. They cannot. They even, like you say, there is no one. maybe they will feel a little bit awkward to do that.
Very awkward. Simple breathing. Like
Yeah.
I always say, if you want to know your natural voice, take a deep inhale and exhale naturally. This is your natural voice. This is my natural voice. Now what you heard in my exhales, right? You see what yours is very quiet, right? Very soft, very subtle. Everyone has a different natural voice. This is your natural somatic frequency. And most women can't even do that. They can't even, they're like,
so when your clients come to you at the beginning, they have struggled to do the
struggling. They're struggling. But once we work through this, suddenly the voice starts opening up. Because you need to remember our throat, our third eye, they're what we call spiritual centers. They cannot process negative emotions. That's why when something traumatic happens, we lose our voice. We cannot speak. We are like,
her voice, this blockage, it comes out when you don't speak your truth, then you wanted, you were angry, you didn't speak. Other factors can affect, and then you start having maybe some sickness again, or sore throat, or you lose your voice. That's
you
true.
lose your voice, but also saying yes when you mean no. This is why women have fibroid issues.
Betraying yourself.
It's self-betrayal, but also fibroids. Why do women have so many fibroids these days, myomes? It's always about the relationship to our feminine energy. A woman in her power is a different kind of beast. And you feel it in her energy. She enters the room and you just sense it.
I agree that the energy is changing. People can notice you, but at the same time, this kind of woman, do you think they're quite not dangerous, but for society, they're not welcomed? Even now, we're not talking now about the centuries ago when this kind of women, they were burned. But even in 21st century, where we have already equal rights and everything, but this kind of woman, they always attract a lot of hate, a lot of they might attract. I'm not sure. I want to hear your opinion, of course, on that. But yeah, just tell me, please, what is your opinion on that?
You see, you're right. A lot of powerful women, and I consider myself one, right? And I can say that with absolute confidence. We do attract a lot of hate, we attract a lot of jealousy, and we attract a lot of judgment. However, and this is however is very important right now. When I was younger and not aware of my power in that sense, I always sensed it. I always felt it. And sometimes I was afraid of it. I was like, whoa, what was this inside of me that is emerging?
You mean the power which you had, but you still didn't have it unleashed, right?
I didn't know what it was. Okay. And I didn't know myself back in the days like that. But I always felt it. And people that would always tell me, you're incredibly powerful. And I was like, okay, so what does this mean? Can I now have $1 million in my bank account or what?
Usually we think, wow, if you're powerful, then you will be you will have everything materialistic very quickly manifested.
Yes, but this is where the however comes back in. I noticed that once you are really embodied in your power as a woman, and here we need to understand power. Power is never power over. Power is never there to prove itself and to show itself, I am powerful.
That comes from where?
That is arrogance. That is insecurity.
Arrogance, right?
Insecurity trying to portray itself as confidence.
So there are a lot of successful people which are insecure.
A lot. They're insecure and they have an inferiority complex. When you tell a powerful person a no, when they want to hear yes, they cannot accept it, or they suddenly start feeling intimidated when there's someone really powerful in the room energetically. We are speaking energy will always beat someone that's just portraying an image. You can't fake energy. You can fake your body language for a while, you can fake what you say, but you cannot fake energy. So when I started really embodying my power, not being afraid of it anymore, and knowing it more and more, learning how to handle it, and seeing also my ability to help others with it, integrating any part of me that I maybe was ashamed of, or I felt was not right, or incomplete, or wounded, or any old identity, or any old storyline that I wanted to really let go of, my energy shifted. And now it's not, I don't attract this kind of jealousy in that extent anymore. Of course, you'll always have jealousy around you. It just comes with the territory, right? But I don't attract this negativity. It's the opposite.
But it's also because you are speaking what you're feeling. You're not speaking about something, what you heard somewhere, you're repeating someone. You are being authentic.
Yes.
Yourself.
Yes.
So that's clear now, the time when more and more people who are authentic, they're coming into the picture. And this kind of people, they have different audience, you know, they are not
Yes.
they're not there to have million followers. They're not there to have attention in terms of how we see a lot of social influencers. They are like looking for that kind of followers.
Yes. That's
The
why it's
feel,
different,
yeah.
because what is power? You are not as a person, me as Anita, as a personality Anita, as the body avatar Anita, I don't have that power. The power comes from my connection to my divinity, to my soul, to my higher essence, which comes through my physical avatar to express itself. And this is why power, true power, is sacred. And people, when they come to you, and I have so many goosebumps, they feel your sacredness, they feel your holiness, for a lack of a better word, so to say. But why? Because they recognize this in themselves when they meet you. And they shift. I'm noticing this in the delivery guys bringing me food, in the women smiling to me on the streets, random women, random
They
children.
feel this light energy.
They feel, power is not, I'm walking around
That's
and
abusing
I'm
the
showing.
power. I don't think that this
Yeah.
kind of power, then it comes to the hand, like, in the hands of the person who is ready to abuse this power.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. This is like those people who are choosing the other side, how we usually have it in all the movies, black and white,
Yeah.
dark and light, and
Yeah.
always there is a fight.
Yeah.
There are also people who have the knowledge, who have this feeling, the information, but they choose to abuse this power
Yes.
into their own, whatever their decision, why they decided. But you can feel it as well. That's why there are people who have knowledge. They attract a lot of audience, but you can feel that there is something. They speak what they speak is right. You listen, okay, yes, it makes a lot of sense. But then there is something.
The era of influencers is coming to an end astrologically as well very soon. So
But we can see it left
we
and
can
right.
see it already happening. The era of worshipping stars, celebrities is already crumbling. Influencers are next. So there was an era.
It was a very short age of influencers.
Yes, but there was an era since 2011 or 12, even astrologically.
They were
where
on
it-
different platforms.
where it
They
was
were migrating
supported.
from one platform to another, from one platform to another.
Yes, they were migrating and they were speaking what makes them big. Some people, first of all, they are here to open up the masses, like a Dr. Joe Dispenza, right? Like those people that are here to really be there for the masses and help them. People like me, we are a bit different, right? In terms of what we came here to do. So we need to also understand what is someone's soul's purpose here on earth in terms of what he's here to achieve. So we cannot compare. And you will feel more and more the people that are authentic and that really carry a sacred knowledge. We cannot explain how we are carrying this or how we know that. How can you obtain a degree in intuition? But we need to trust it. And every woman, every man who has ever had that experience knows what I mean. It's just something you can't explain.
But can you give some example, like at least to understand, because we're talking about womb healing, right? We spoke about the connection to womb, how important it is, where that it can store a lot of information for everyone. But how? Like, okay, listen to one thing, but what else we can do?
So when you start doing it by yourself, it's just very different than coming to someone like me who's guiding you through the process, right? When you do it by yourself, you connect. And then you notice whether you can connect. You notice whether there is a connection or not. Then you start visualize for yourself. If you have a struggle visualizing, just imagine, because some people have a problem visualizing.
One more. It's applicable for men and women.
For men, in
it's
this case, it's a similar. So men have a womb space called the hara, which is an energetic space, right? Even women who do not have any more physical womb still have that space there. So that process of connecting is for both the same, right? So then you can visualize or imagine what color does your womb have? What color does it show itself to you, right? Then you can notice, is it pulsating? Or is it like more like a smoke, like a fog? Does it look to you like maybe like a hologram? How does it appear to you? How does it look like? And then I always start for my clients, when they can see that and feel it, I ask them, how far are you away from that, what you see? Are you very far? Is it like somewhere there? Is it close? And then depending where they are, I ask them to go either closer, or when they are close to it, I'm asking them to put their hand. And you literally, in your eyes mind, but you can literally put your hand and just visualize your hand, because our hands store energy.
Yeah, of course,
when you do that, you can feel it. And then just connect to that womb, to that portal that represents the womb, to that color, to that hologram, whatever it is. And just connect. In the beginning, it's very important to do that without expectations, without trying to get a message, trying to get some answers. Because we first need to establish the bond.
The connection, right?
Establish the bond. Once
to
the
acknowledge
bond,
the presence
and
of
to
that
acknowledge
part
the
of
presence.
you.
Once it's there, now we can start. Because a lot of women can't even do that. Or if they do, they're like, oh, she's angry. She's like, oh, now you're talking to me.
She's angry because you neglected her for so many years.
Yes.
Taking it for granted.
Yeah. And that's why I'm writing a book right now about these experiences, because women need to know, of course, without disclosing my clients, right? But women need to know what is happening and what really is revealed to you and how it can change your life. Because each part of the womb is connected to an element.
Okay.
Right? We, in our physical avatar, we are connected to earth. We are connected to the elements. And the elements correspond to different parts in our body. This is what every Asian practitioner as well know, right? Every Ayurvedic practitioner. So each part of the womb is connected to a certain element. And I'll give you one example. The right ovary, just as an example, is connected to the element fire.
Okay.
Right? So in shamanism, fire is the father energy, represents the masculine energy. But overall, the wisdom that these parts of the womb carry are corresponding to fire. So fire, or water, or earth, or air, when we speak of fire, it's what? It's passion. It's creativity. It's sexuality, right? It's our life force energy. So when a woman, for example, has an imbalance in her fire element, let's say she has too much fire, it's completely out of whack, what she tends to attract, and this is unknowingly, I had that, for example, is that we burn through the man. We have power struggles with men, because remember,
So
it's
you
a
attract
masculine energy.
men who are weak?
No, you attract men that want you for pleasure.
Okay.
So you will have a lot of sexual encounters. You kick it off very fast, but then it fizzles out very fast. So you will
no connection.
No commitment.
No commitment.
No commitment from the man, because in that case he feels your masculine power and he does not want that.
It's
if he's
fiery,
a
it's attracting, but it's still too masculine.
It's too masculine, right?
Okay.
So, and then for example, if a woman has too little fire, she's afraid to shine her light. She will always walk like this. You will see it in her body language. She's afraid to be that lion, right? To be that light in that sense. So this is, for example, how this can play out. So if you as a woman can relate to any of those two things I'm saying, then there is an imbalance in your fire element. So we need to go into that.
What about the other ovary?
So the other one is earth.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do you relate to earth?
Mothering, caring, loving, nurturing.
Yes. Earth is our sensuality, is healing, is our inner knowing.
Connection to your body as well.
Connectedness to the body, but also belonging, right? So a woman, for example, that has an imbalance, let's say a too little earth in herself, she will not feel connected to her body, but she will also not feel connected to life. She will not feel supported by life. She will always feel that she has to do everything alone and that she's left alone.
So she's like, feeling there is no partner for her.
There is no partner, because this is essential. This is basically the foundation. What a man unknowingly is looking for in a woman is this motherly, nurturing quality. But if she doesn't feel held by life, if she doesn't feel connected to life, to earth, to her roots, to her body, to her sensuality, which is for women so important, then the man will sense that lack in her. He doesn't know what he's sensing. You see, all those
How
things...
he will act if he feels that there is a lack of this?
He will feel that that's a woman he cannot build a life with.
Okay. So she
Very
cannot
easy.
carry kids,
He
properly
cannot
raise them.
Yeah. She's not connected. She's not stable.
Okay.
This is how he's going to perceive her, right? When a woman has too much earth, for example, then she is
Like a mom.
Yes. Or
Take care of everyone.
Or too rooted in the material world. Then there is also not really a connection because we need to remember the earth is a material realm. We are here in a material realm. right? So the root chakra is directly corresponding to our ability to be safe. So in the Maslow's pyramid, it's the bottom, it's the shelter, it's the safety, it's the security. This is the
One
root.
of the basics.
How can you
if
have
you're not
that?
feeling secured, you cannot do anything in life.
You cannot do anything. And women
you will do, but you will struggle.
Yes.
A lot of struggle will be there.
And women, for example, who transmute through generations wealth curses and wealth issues, so her inability to build wealth for herself, she will also have a huge lack in the root, because why? She doesn't feel supported.
Well, that's one of the lessons she has to go through.
That's one of the lessons.
Another topics,
Yes.
why we have what we have in our life and how we can find it out.
But this can be found out entering the element of earth.
Okay,
this
so
can
there's
be all
earth,
seen
there's
there.
fire.
There's fire, then we go to the water.
That's very water, like we are women are very watery actually, yeah. So.
We are very watery, yeah, but too much water is also not good.
It can like flood you as well and can destroy.
Yes.
So it depends. Well, okay, so if it's too much or lack.
Yes, so water pretty much represents in us our ability to trust our intuition.
Which exactly part is?
It's the left ovary. It corresponds to fire, right?
Fire.
Fire is the right ovary. Left is water.
And what about? Okay.
4 elements.
Yeah.
We are connecting to 4 parts in the womb, right? There are others as well, but let's use the basics. So for the left ovary, it's all about our ability to surrender. It's our psychic gifts. This is where the priestess energy is at, the feminine oracles. They're in the water element. So it's where I work with the primordial mother, right? With the womb Neanderthal shamans, which goes back to mythology, which is basically the first women on earth. I consider the womb Neanderthal shamans. So they are the mermaids, the merline. Now, mermaids are not necessarily those beautiful mythologies we see, right? They're more like other kind of creatures, but let's leave that to the side. So when we connect with that part, we connect with a primordial power in us as women. Our ability to trust our intuition, our ability to connect, our ability to surrender and to receive, to slow down.
Wow, that's also, I think, me personally, and a lot of women are struggling with that. It's like it's so, you can see it everywhere almost.
Excess of fire,
surrender,
lack of water. Yeah.
Trust.
But you see, it's also a result. It's a result of women having to do things all the time by themselves for years and years and years. I mean, look at the mother who's raising her 2 kids by herself. How is she going to have time to connect to her womb and surrender and just do those things, right?
She has to think about making money.
Exactly. She has to feed her children. She has to pay the bills, right? So it's easy to do that for a single woman that has everything. Okay, let's surrender. But these are the kind of women we need to work with so she can find a balance in her life and still be in her feminine energy. And the balance of the elements, not a code you put on and off. It's something you need to embody. And we are not going to have all the elements all the time balanced, but it's the awareness, the knowledge of it that brings you, okay, now I'm too much here. Let me bring myself back here again. Because when we work, we are more in fire. We are more in our action.
You need this. You cannot like get rid of this.
Exactly.
You have to have everything in balance. We have to learn, of course, to make it all in balance, but it's essential to have every part present there. Okay, so
it's essential to have every part present there. Yeah.
The water.
So when you as a woman have too little water, right, then you are not trusting the flow of life. You are not trusting
questioning everything.
You're questioning everything. You cannot receive. Compliments, yes, even starting with receiving compliments. Oh, no, you're not.
Oh, you really try to give the compliment straight away. Like, I learned when I receive a compliment, I say, thank you very much.
Yes.
Before, I would always try to give a compliment back. That's also not being able to receive.
Yes, it's an inability to receive, right? Or if someone offers you help. So, yeah, that's, for example, if a woman has too little fire, it's really for her very hard to surrender to life, to trust, and to also be in her feminine essence. Even in her intimate life, it is really, she's struggling with that, right? When she has too much fire, too much water, she can't get stuff done. Then she's just flowing. I am flowing the whole day. I am
hippie.
She becomes this hippie, right? Which is nothing wrong with hippies, but she won't be able to really action things in her life. She will constantly be doing something and then not executing it to the end, right? So those things are changing. And a man, of course, looks for a woman that has this embodied oracle inside of her, the womb. Then when we go to the upper womb space, which again, also it's the solar plexus area, we are talking about air.
Yeah.
And air is one element that I think is completely underestimated. I love air. I'm also a Libra sun, so I'm connected to the air element.
I'm Libra rising.
Exactly, right? So the air is there. And when we speak of air, air is purity, air is innocence. Air is also the innocence in our sexuality. But when a woman is completely having too little air, then she has a very hard time opening herself up to stimulating intellectual conversations with a man. It's all going to be just primal. She's not going to be able to use her mind and her heart and her womb in coherence to find a partner for her or to find relationships for her in her life that are matching her. So she's going to be misaligned in that area, right? When a woman has too much air, she struggles connecting emotionally to a man. She's afraid of emotional intimacy because for her it's all about mental stimulation, but she's also making decisions based on what makes sense, based on what is
Materialistic, practical.
Materialistic, but also, okay, this makes sense to me right now. I'm 32, I want to have kids. Okay, let's marry this guy. He's here, he has money. Let's go. Just now as an extreme example, right? There are different factors that play into that, and it expresses itself in many, many ways. But you can see through these elements truly where a woman is shutting herself off from intimacy. And there are way more women doing that than men, by the way.
So basically, if we just sum up, because the topic is so interesting, I really feel like we have to continue talking about that. But we understand like we have basic parts which correspond, and just by scanning and going deeper, we can actually understand where exactly we have the lack, where it's too much. It's not that easy when you do it by yourself, but still you can. A little bit, like few things apart from connecting to yourself. Maybe there is some technique or something. What whoever is listening, if they feel like they can try it or explore more about that topic, so they can at least make this baby step towards their womb, towards their healing. And the brighter future for sure.
Of course. I mean, look, the womb, because when we go into the elements, we go also into the ancestral line. This is where I guide them, where we see what was happening, right? So it's shown to you. It's shown to you many different ways. What you can do is when you connect to the womb, so the first step we've done earlier, right, is establishing the connection. So once you establish the connection, you can, for example, ask her questions.
Okay.
Literally ask her questions. Now here it's important to not have expectations of what comes to you and
it's
how
not
it comes.
Magic ball which you will shake it, will say yes or no.
Yes.
Just be open to not receive an answer straight away as well.
Exactly. Sometimes it comes in your dreams, sometimes it comes later suddenly. But ask, for example, if the womb has a message for you today.
And pay attention to signs or something. It's not necessarily you will receive straight away. It can come to you during the day.
Yes. Or if she wants to tell you something that you need to know right now. So you can start connecting with her when you do it alone in that way and just allow the answer to be there. And you can make your womb a promise. She likes that very much, which is you can
make
say
compliments as well.
Yes,
how much you love it.
Her.
Oh, by the way, very important. Be grateful. Be grateful to this part of your body, which stores a lot of knowledge and which, as women, is a sacred space, really sacred.
It's very sacred. So acknowledge her for that sacred space. Very important.
Be grateful, say thank you, make compliments. Then after that, you can ask a question.
And you tell her, I am with you now. If you want, you can even apologize that you haven't paid attention to her. You're sorry you weren't there. But you are now here. And you are giving her a voice. And you can tell your womb, I hear you, I see you, I feel you. It's the same when a person says that to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like just this word, I see you.
It already makes you feel
it's so
like
different.
relieved.
Yeah.
Then can you imagine how she will feel when you tell this? Actually, you will feel even better because you're telling this to yourself.
It's to yourself, really. Really, really, really. So and then you can use breath work, right? So you can inhale into your yoni And as you inhale, you can visualize how you're taking in Earth's energies. And as you inhale, you pull all the energy all the way up to the crown. You hold it here for 5 to 10 seconds. And when you exhale, you allow the energy to go back down your spine from
So
your
you're
hips.
circulating it
So
from
you're
the earth
circulating.
to
It's
down.
a microcosmic orbit. We call it a
but
microcosmic.
it goes through the womb, up and down.
Up through the spine, and then from the back again, back down. So, and you're doing this for a couple of minutes, for however
Make the
long.
energy circulating, yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many practices with opening arms, with breath work, with shaking.
Maybe we can do more about that
Yeah.
another time, even go deeper into the connecting, the methods, the rituals, or other ways of connecting to the womb. And
Definitely.
it was not enough. But really, I enjoyed the talk so much. It was amazing. I mean, there's so much more to talk about that. Just the tip of the iceberg we touched today. But at least we gave some kind of information, which I think those who are listening, you can really use it.
Yeah,
it is important to acknowledge the presence of some parts of your body, and this one is one of the major ones.
She's your portal. She's really your portal, and you need to honor her. You need to really understand the sacredness of the space that you have.
That's actually sacredness of this space and of you, and of your presence in this life.
Yeah. Exactly.
Thank you very much, Anita. It was, as always, amazing talk. I have goosebumps. I didn't notice how time flew. I felt like we just said goosebumps for many more. And thank you again. Thank you very much. Really,
I thank you for
I
having
love
me.
what you're doing, and I wish that you help more people there, that they will find the way to you, and they will be healed through you with your help. So,
oh, that's so sweet
thank
of you. Thank you, Anastasia.
Thank you.